What is up, everyone? Will You're Tilted here, and today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to cover my most anticipated game of probably all time, Ashes of Creation. Now, there's a good chance you've already heard of this game, no matter what type of gamer you are. It's an MMO RPG being developed by Intrepid Studios in the world of Vera. It got its 15 minutes of fame in the summer of 2020, and again in the summer of 2021 when they released their alpha. And there was many large content creators such as Asmongold and the Lazy Peon that showcased the Alpha 1 test. Now, Ashes of Creation must be one of the most ambitious games that I can remember seeing. I'll spare you the full dive into the different types of content and their unique node system, as the Lazy Peon has already created a very well-made video that covers all that, and you should definitely go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Ashes of Creation does seem to have something for everyone, though. A brief overview of the planned content: they have world PvP, they have caravans where you have to defend a caravan going between the nodes, the cities. They have guild wars. They're going to have castle sieges, node sieges, PvP. They're going to have an in-world PvP system where players get corrupted to try and fight, griefing. They're going to have exploration, treasure hunting, achievements, crafting, and then they're going to have the obvious, right? The dungeons, raids. They're going to have guilds with guild halls and guild versus guild combat. So there really has a breadth of content and something planned for everybody. And I think this might be where some of the doubts come in, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, is just the absolute gargantuan project they've set up for themselves. Now you may be thinking, what's changed since the hype died down? Back last summer when everyone was playing it and everyone was Google searching it. What's happened since then? Well, Intrepid Studios stays very active on their forums and all their social medias, asking the communities questions on a range of topics, trying to ensure that they take everyone's opinion into consideration. They have obviously been making progress on graphics and animations, and they've begun to flesh out playable races. They've implemented new features such as animal husbandry, and probably the biggest change is that they upgraded from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. Now, obviously it's an upgrade, so this should give them new tools, should give them new technology, and they'll be able to develop their game in ways that they couldn't on Unreal Engine 4. They have also stated that the transition was focused mainly, they call it front-facing, meaning that their custom code and their networks weren't touched. So should not cause a huge delay in the development of the game. And the team is very excited for how much further they're going to be able to push the game because of this upgrade. Now, one of my most anticipated features of Ashes of Creation has got to be their approach to classes. Upon character creation, you will select your primary archetype, and this could be one of 8 classes. It could be fighter, tank, rogue, ranger, mage, summoner, cleric, or bard. And these primary archetypes, they're locked in. They can't be changed. They're a part of your character. And they will determine your base abilities, which is pretty standard, right? Create your character, you pick your class, you get your abilities. But where they make it interesting is that you also will get to choose a secondary archetype from those same 8, and this provides 64 unique combinations for your class. The secondary archetype doesn't give you new abilities in the sense that you're probably thinking. It augments and changes the base abilities of your primary archetype. So, as an example, this is not confirmed, but instead of a tank charging at an enemy, if you choose mage as your secondary archetype, you could teleport to an enemy instead. And so, this will really allow players to personalize their playstyle, add some flavor into their own personal character, and let players kind of own their builds, so to speak. Which is the primary and which is the secondary obviously does matter. As you can see from this table, if I choose my primary as a tank and my secondary as a cleric, then my class will be a paladin. However, if my primary is a cleric and my secondary is a tank, I will instead be an apostle. And there's just so many opportunities here. It's worth noting that you will be able to respec your secondary archetype, and that's good news for people like me that has an identity crisis every few months and want to play a little bit of everything. Now, as good as all this sounds, nothing is perfect, nothing can be perfect. While the developers approach all their decisions from a community-focused mindset, which I think we can all respect, this is still a gargantuan project, and with that comes a lot of room for error. There's a lot of people out there who still think this all might be too good to be true, and the developers have bitten off more than they can chew. Now, I personally have not seen anything from the developments, updates, the alpha gameplay, nothing from anybody I've seen on social media that has really given me cause for concern. I think after the alpha footage came out, people are a lot more optimistic, but it is, there's still a long way to go, and the developers have said the game will release when it's ready, which is fair. I'd much rather them release a completed game that they're happy with at the time that they're happy with, as opposed to them trying to rush it out and it ended up failing because they didn't have the time they needed to create the product they wanted to. Now, while we're on the topic, the only thing that I feel like I would like to bring up, the only thing that has me slightly concerned, is the combat animations. While some abilities do look cool, others just don't quite have the impact that I want to feel when I'm playing my game. My two most played MMOs are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, and they both get different things right with their combat. World of Warcraft has some of the snappiest, most responsive combat I've ever seen. When you press the button, it happens immediately, it feels good. Final Fantasy XIV, on the other hand, has made their abilities feel so good to use, so climactic, so powerful. There's so many cues. You have visually, you have explosions, your screen shakes, you have the audio cue of big explosions, and it makes you feel strong, makes you feel powerful. Now I think finding a balance between these two things would provide for an unparalleled combat experience. And I know it's not a true tap target system that they're going for, so there are going to be some differences. And yes, I do understand that Ashes of Creation is still in development and that the animations are not final yet. I do understand that. I think the combat looks fluid. I think it looks agile. I think they've nailed that part. I personally would just like to see a bit more impact, a bit more excitement come out of at least the higher level abilities when I should be feeling strong and powerful. Alright, that's all I have for you guys today. The developers are making huge progress, and 2022 has been a huge year for Ashes of Creation now that they've made this change to Unreal Engine 5. If you're interested in hearing more about Ashes of Creation from me, make sure you satisfy that YouTube algorithm, hit the like and subscribe buttons, leave a comment, it all really does help the channel out, and I hope to see you guys next time.